Welcome to Crypto Business channel. Today we are reviewing a Quadrant Protocol project. It's a blockchain-based protocol that enables the access, creation and distribution of data products and services with authenticity and provenance at its core. Data economy is similar to space, unmapped and chaotic. Quadrant servers are the blueprints that provides an organized system for the utilization of decentralized data. Vast amounts of authentic data are needed to power today's algorithms. However, the current data economy is fraught with problems. There is an ever-widening gap between between those with the resources to collect and store their own data and those that do not. The data that have nodes to have access to is often fragmented and of questionable authenticity and the kind of data that produce poor result when fed to algorithm. Part of the reason why the data lacks authenticity is because the suppliers of it are not properly incentivized. Fair revenue distribution does not exist for both data producers and vendors. Without a healthy and transparent data economy, the increasing demand for authentic data will not be met. Quadrant aims to solve this problem by providing a blueprint for mapping disparate data sources. It will support proof of data authenticity and provenance via data stamping, the creation of constellations, data smart contracts for disparate data sources, and fair remuneration and incentive sharing. Data consumers can trust the authenticity of the data they purchase. Nurseries or data producers are compensated fairly every time their data is used, and pioneers, data vendors, have the incentive to create innovative constellations. This new transparent ecosystem ensures that companies get the authentic data they need. Where Quadrant has major potential for impact is ability. It provides Elons, or else the brightest data minds, to find linkages between different constellations and in turn create mega constellations that can be used by data consumers to solve real-world problems. This is where Quadrant differentiates itself from its competitors. Quadrant is designed to work with both centralized and decentralized services. The architecture consists of the core Quadrant blockchain clients, data producers, data consumers, and Anchor, and Guardian nodes. Quadrant will operate on a proof of authority consensus mechanism so that it can handle more transactions, operate at a lower gas price, achieve faster transactions, and restrict malicious nodes from entering data into the network. An external proof-of-work chain will be used as an anchor for security purposes. For the time being, the Ethereum blockchain will be used for anchoring, but it can be replaced by any public chain in the future if needed. Producers of the original data sources have it the worst with respect to revenue distribution. They need to be incentivized to continue producing data, yet more often than not they are paid just once for the data that they provide. It is the data vendors that have the ability to resell the same data again and again. There is no way for the producers to find out what happens to the data downstream, where it goes and for what purpose. What this do, it's cast an opaque layer over the data so that producers have no idea of how much money they are owed. Atomic data producers, or else ADPs. At this level of the data value chain, the biggest problem is that the ADPs are not paid their fair share of revenue made by the data that they produce. Individual data has little value on its own. Its real value is derived when it when uh, when it's combined with other datasets. As a result, most data producers will sell their data up the value chain to aggregators and resellers who can sell interesting datasets alongside one another to multiply the impact of the insight. The problem for ADPs is that they receive payment only once, no matter how many times the data is resolved via their resellers and aggregators. Each additional sale beyond the initial transaction between the ADP and the reseller does not translate into revenue for the ADP. That is not the only thing working against ADPs. With existing data transaction architectures, there are prohibitive costs incurred in compensating ADPs for the data that they provide. Take a CSV file that has thousands of medical prescriptions sourced from multiple ADPs as an example. Figuring out the exact percentage of revenue to share amongst the contributing ADPs is inherently cumbersome and expensive. Let's consider a real example of data value chain for mobile location intelligence data. A government body is doing a project in which it wants to understand the most crowded roadways in the morning and understand where everyone comes from. To execute the study, the government will enlist a mobile location intelligence company to this work. This intelligence company will gather data from multiple location aggregators who source the data from the many SDK providers that produce this data. These SDK providers install their libraries in thousands of apps from publishers who in turn have their apps installed in the millions of mobile devices. It is quite complex for such a simple use case. By making constellations available on Quadrant, they can be aggregated to form new constellations at each level along the data value chain. It will never be a case in which the top data consumer sources directly from the million of devices. What the Quadrant Protocol can enable is that when the top layer constellation is purchased, then all the corresponding constellations are also triggered, hence enabling the release and remuneration of each party from the location aggregators to the SDKs and publishers. For today this is the end. More information will be in the next video. Subscribe to my channel for more information about ICO. Invest and make money. Good luck.